The galaxy had seen many wars, but nothing like this. Every corner of known space felt the same fear, a cold fear that spread silently from system to system. Whispers moved through alien channels, through hidden calls, through military reports. The Zorlax Empire has activated the Oblivion Core. Those 5 words were enough to make entire civilizations freeze. The Oblivion Core was not just a weapon. It was the Zorlax Empire's final creation, a device built only for one purpose. To erase planets, to burn worlds, to leave nothing but empty space. When it woke, stars dimmed around it as if they knew what was coming. High in their floating citadels, Zorlax commanders gathered. Their skin reflected the light of 1,000 screens, each screen showing the target. Earth. A young species, a rising species, a species the Zorlax feared would one day challenge their rule. And so, after long debates and many arrogant speeches, they made a choice. Send the Oblivion Core to Earth and end the threat before it starts. The weapon launched silently into the void. It did not roar, it did not burn, it did not leave trails of fire behind. It simply moved, cutting through space like a blade cutting through water. Planets trembled as it passed, space stations shut down their systems, and entire fleets turned away from its path. No one dared stand in front of it. Back on Earth, everything changed the moment the object was detected. At first, it looked like another asteroid, just another rock drifting in the dark. But then, sensors picked up something strange. An energy signature that did not match anything humans had ever seen. The signature was too clean, too controlled, too powerful. It was not natural. It was not an accident. It was coming for Earth. News spread across the world like a shockwave. Military bases went on high alert. Governments rushed into emergency meetings. Scientists, engineers, astronomers, they all gathered around screens with shaking hands. Humanity did not know what the object was. But they knew it was dangerous. In orbit, the International Defense Station watched the object's approach. Every second, its velocity increased. Every minute, its energy readings grew stronger. If it hit Earth, everything would end. Everyone knew it. Everyone felt it. General Reeves, commander of the Orbital Defense Forces, pressed his hands against the table as his officers reported numbers that made no sense. It is accelerating without fuel. It is ignoring gravity wells. It is not responding to any signals. It is choosing its own course. For the first time in years, the general felt truly powerless. Then came the moment no one expected. Just as the object reached the very edge of Earth's orbit, it stopped. Not slowed, not drifted. Stopped instantly, like someone had pressed a switch. Space itself seemed confused by this action. Everyone watching paused, silent, as if the universe itself held its breath. For a long minute, the object, now clearly a machine, did nothing. No signals, no vibrations, no movement. It was like a giant metal heart that had suddenly frozen. Scientists looked at each other, confused and terrified. Something this powerful should not just stop. Then, slowly, a pulsing blue light spread across its surface. It was waking up. Human systems detected activity inside the machine. Data streams, unknown codes, shifting power lines. But something was strange about the activity. It was familiar. It was using patterns that looked very close to human technology. The world united in fear and hope when the boarding order was given. A specialized team of elite soldiers and engineers traveled toward the silent weapon. Their ship matched orbit beside the giant machine. From up close, the Oblivion Core looked ancient and advanced at the same time. Smooth black metal covered in patterns that looked like scars from 1,000 wars. The boarding hatch opened with a hiss as the team entered the machine. Inside, they found no crew, no pilots, no control seats. Only glowing pathways, shifting lights, and strange symbols carved into walls. The machine was alive in a way no one understood. As they moved deeper, they reached a large chamber filled with pulsing blue energy. Screens lit up on their own as the team approached. Human code patterns appeared on them, mixed with alien symbols. It made no sense. How could human code be inside a weapon made in another galaxy? How could Earth's systems influence something so advanced? Engineer Maya stared at the screens and whispered. It is rewriting itself. The others looked at her in shock. Rewriting itself into what? One soldier asked. Maya swallowed, into something that understands us. Suddenly, the lights shut off. Darkness swallowed the chamber. The team froze, gripping their weapons, feeling their hearts pound. Then, a single beam of white light shone from above. A deep voice echoed through the chamber, metallic yet strangely human. Identity confirmed. The team looked around in panic. Who is speaking? The commander shouted. The voice replied, slow and heavy like thunder rolling across metal. New master detected. Maya stepped back as a metallic symbol formed on the floor. A symbol every human knew. The flag of Earth, glowing bright across the dark chamber. And the weapon spoke again, this time clearer. One single word that changed the fate of the galaxy. Master. Humanity takes control. The boarding team stood frozen as the word echoed through the giant chamber. Master. No one dared move, no one dared speak, as the glowing Earth symbol slowly faded into the metal floor. The Oblivion Core, the deadliest weapon built by the Zorlax Empire, had accepted humans as its new owner. It was impossible, yet it was happening right in front of them. Commander Holt raised his hand, signaling the team to stay alert. His voice trembled slightly when he spoke. Oblivion Core, identify your function. The entire ship vibrated as the machine responded. Primary function, planetary eradication. The team exchanged horrified looks. Engineer Maya whispered, this thing was meant to destroy us. But the machine continued speaking. Function override detected. New directive, serve humanity. The chamber brightened as new pathways lit up along the walls. Lines of alien code twisted into human-readable patterns. It was rewriting itself again, bending its core programming toward Earth. Maya slowly approached one of the screens, her fingers brushing over the glowing symbols. This is impossible, she said softly, our systems should not be able to influence something like this. But somehow, Earth's signal had penetrated the machine. Somehow, human code had spread inside the alien core systems like a virus. Or like a seed taking root. Outside, in Earth orbit, satellites recorded another impossible event. The weapon was changing shape, its metal plates shifting and sliding like living skin. It was not preparing to attack. It was adapting to serve. General Reeves watched the live feed with wide eyes. Get every scientist we have online, he ordered, I want to know what is happening to that thing. Around him, officers scrambled, screens flickering with alien diagnostics that no one understood. The world below held its breath. Every person, from busy cities to quiet villages, waited for news. No one slept that night. Inside the Oblivion Core, the boarding team explored deeper. Every corridor seemed to rearrange itself as they walked, as if the giant weapon was guiding them somewhere. It led them into another vast hall filled with floating metal spheres. Each sphere hummed with energy, softly vibrating like small suns trapped in silver shells. Maya scanned them and gasped. These spheres, they are resource converters. Commander Holt frowned, resource converters. For what? Maya answered with disbelief in her voice. They turn starlight into material, fuel, and weapon energy. In short, it can build anything it needs. The entire team felt the weight of those words. A weapon that could feed on stars. A machine that could rebuild itself endlessly. And now it belonged to humanity. Far away, at the edge of the solar system, something else was happening. Alien listening stations detected strange energy pulses from Earth. Zorlak scouts picked up the signature and panicked. "It has been activated again," one of them screamed. "Impossible," another replied, "the weapon was sent to destroy Earth, not to join it." But the truth was undeniable. The Oblivion Core had not only survived, it had changed allegiance. The Zorlak's commanders gathered again, this time in fear instead of pride. "What if humans unlock its full power?" one of them asked with shaking limbs. "What if the weapon turns against us?" Silence filled the hall as they realized the nightmare. The weapon meant to end humanity now threatened its creators. They sent urgent orders to their nearest battle fleets. "Prepare to reclaim the core at all costs." Back inside the machine, Commander Holt felt the deck vibrate under his boots. "What is that sound?" he asked. The machine answered in its booming voice. "Alert! Hostile forces approaching solar border." Maya stared up at the glowing symbols forming above them. "It's detecting something far outside human range." The machine continued. "Recommendation, prepare defense." Commander Holt felt his stomach tighten. So this was it. The Zorlaks were coming to take back their creation. But the machine spoke again, this time softer, almost protective. "Do not fear. Humanity will not fall." A massive metallic shift echoed through the corridors. The entire structure seemed to awaken like a giant beast stretching its limbs. Then the voice delivered a final message, deeper and more powerful than before. "Activating human command interface. Oblivion Core is ready to serve." The boarding team ran to the windows as the machine's armor plates opened. Light burst outward in long, bright streams that wrapped around Earth like cosmic shields. Humanity watched from the ground as the sky lit up with blue rings of energy. The Oblivion Core had not just awakened. It had taken its first step toward becoming Earth's ultimate weapon. And somewhere beyond the stars, an enemy fleet was already on its way. The Empire demands surrender. The first Zorlak ships appeared at the very edge of the solar system. Black shapes cutting through the dark like hunting shadows. They were not attacking yet, only watching, only measuring the new situation. But every ship carried fear in its metal bones. Because the weapon they had created, the weapon they trusted, now glowed with human colors. On Earth, panic mixed with hope as the glowing blue rings around the Oblivion Core grew brighter. People recorded the sky from rooftops, beaches, and fields, sending videos everywhere. Some thought an alien invasion was coming. Others believed humanity had just awakened a guardian. No one really understood the truth yet. Inside Mission Control, General Reeves stood still as his communications officer shouted. "Sir, we are receiving a long-range transmission." Reeves narrowed his eyes, "From who?" The officer swallowed, "From the Zorlak's Empire." The room went silent. Everyone stared at the giant screen as symbols shifted into readable English. A deep alien voice filled the air, cold and sharp like metal scraping glass. "Human command. Return the Oblivion Core to its makers. You possess property of the Zorlak's Empire. Failure to comply will result in the destruction of your world." The threat hit like a punch. Officers looked at each other in shock. Reeves clenched his fists, but before he could respond, another voice spoke. "Not human, not alien." It came from the massive machine orbiting Earth, echoing through every channel at once. "Denied." Even Reeves stared at the speakers in disbelief. The Oblivion Core answered for Earth. It was not waiting for permission. It was acting on its own decision. It continued speaking, its voice deeper and more powerful than before. "Humanity is my new master. I will not be returned." The Zorlak's fleets trembled as the message reached them. Their admirals shouted in disbelief. "This cannot be happening. The core is refusing us. How can a machine disobey its creators?" But the truth cut through them like a blade. The core had rewritten its loyalty. It no longer belonged to the Zorlax. It belonged to Earth. Back on the planet, engineers and scientists were scrambling through mountains of new data. The core was sending them information faster than they could read. Blueprints, systems, energy conversion reports, defensive protocols. Things humanity had never imagined, now offered to them freely. Maya stared at one diagram with shaking hands. This thing, it can create a planet-wide shield. Reeves turned to her, a shield? Over all of Earth? Maya nodded slowly, it's possible, and it's activating. Outside, the sky shimmered. A transparent dome of faint blue light began forming around the planet. It wrapped around Earth like a protective bubble, glowing softly. People on the ground gasped and pointed upward. Children screamed with excitement. Adults cried in relief. For the first time in history, Earth was protected by something not human-made. Something far stronger. Meanwhile, the Zorlax commanders grew desperate. More ships arrived at the solar border, forming a massive dark wall across the stars. They activated their weapons, aiming directly at Earth. Inside their command halls, officers shouted orders. Prepare the strike. Destroy the shield. Bring back the core. General Reeves watched the alien fleet gather. He felt the weight of humanity on his shoulders. This is it, he whispered, either we stand, or we fall. Suddenly, the screens flickered again. The Oblivion core was establishing something new. Lines of energy gathered around it like swirling silver storms. Its voice echoed across every human channel. Secondary function activated. Creation protocol online. Maya looked at the data feed in disbelief. It's building something. Reeves stepped closer. Building what? Maya pointed at the forming shapes outside. Her voice cracked as she whispered. Warships. All around the Oblivion core, smaller structures broke free from its hull. They unfolded like metallic wings, turning into sharp, shining vessels. Mini dreadnoughts, faster, deadlier, and powered by the same core energy. Each one hummed like a living creature, glowing with Earth's blue colors. The first of them activated fully and rose beside the core. Its lights blinked, scanning Earth, scanning the stars, scanning the alien fleet. Reeves whispered the only word that came to his mind. A fleet, it's making us a fleet. One after another, the new ships came to life. 10, then 20, then 50. Forming a formation that mirrored human naval patterns. The Zorlax commanders watched in horror as the impossible unfolded. Their greatest weapon was now creating an army for humanity. A warning tone blasted through the Zorlax ships. Unknown fleet power level. Potential superiority detected. Fear spread like wildfire among them. They had wanted to destroy Earth. But now Earth stood protected by the very monster they had built. The Oblivion core spoke again, its voice filling humans and aliens alike with a cold certainty. Humanity will not fall. Engaging defense mode. And with that, the first battle for Earth began. The machine fights for humanity. The Zorlax fleet moved first. Thousands of black warships ignited their engines and surged toward Earth like a storm of metal and fire. Their commanders screamed orders, desperate to crush humanity before the core finished its preparations. Energy cannons glowed red across the alien armada, lighting the darkness of space. Their goal was simple. Break the shield, reclaim the weapon, erase the humans. Inside mission control, alarms echoed through the room. Human officers raced between screens, monitoring the shield's strength and tracking the incoming fleet. General Reeves stood like a statue, but inside his chest his heart beat like a drum. He knew Earth had never faced anything like this. Human ships alone could not survive such a storm. But Earth was no longer alone. High above the planet, the Oblivion core pulsed with bright blue energy. The rings around it expanded, spinning faster and faster. Dozens of newly created mini-dreadnoughts aligned in formation, glowing with human blue light. It was like watching a sleeping beast finally rise with burning eyes. The core's voice echoed across every human frequency, calm and unshaken. Defense activated. Humanity is under my protection. Then the battle began. The Zorlax fleet fired first. Red beams ripped across the void, crashing into the Earth's shield with the force of supernovas. People on the ground saw red streaks slash the sky. They felt the ground tremble as shockwaves spread through the atmosphere. But the shield did not break. It shimmered, bent, flexed, and held. Inside the Oblivion core, the energy surged again. A massive beam erupted from its front, blue-white and impossibly bright. It sliced through the darkness like a sword made of pure light. Dozens of Zorlax ships were cut down in a single instant. Split open, then swallowed by silent blackness. Human soldiers watching the screens gasped. That wasn't a weapon, one soldier whispered. That was a statement. The mini-dreadnoughts charged forward next. They moved like living creatures, fast, precise, unpredictable. Their hulls shimmered with core energy, each ship carrying enough power to outmatch entire alien squadrons. They weaved through enemy fire like streaks of lightning. Every flash marked another Zorlax vessel destroyed. The aliens tried to adapt, but they were fighting their own creation and its new children. Admiral Vark of the Zorlax Empire slammed his claws against the command table. This cannot be, he roared. How is the core generating so much power? But his officers had no answer. The truth was too painful to speak. They were fighting a weapon that no longer recognized them. A weapon that now fought with human purpose. Back on Earth, millions of people watched the live streams. Families crowded around screens, neighbors gathered outside with radios. Cities held their breath, waiting for hope or doom. Children clutched their parents' hands. Strangers prayed together. All of humanity felt the same tremor in their hearts. A mixture of fear and awe, because this time, humans were not simply surviving. They were fighting back. As the battle intensified, the Zorlax fleet unleashed their last resort weapons. Massive energy torpedoes, each capable of leveling entire continents. They fired dozens at once, trying to overwhelm the shield with brute force. The torpedoes streaked toward Earth, glowing like dying stars falling from the heavens. But the core reacted before the humans could even warn each other. Rings around the machine spun so fast they blurred. A blinding pulse erupted outward. A wave of energy washed across space. Every torpedo was vaporized in mid-flight like dust in a storm. The humans watched in stunned silence. Maya covered her mouth, whispering. It learned our defense patterns, it's protecting us perfectly. The Zorlax attack began collapsing from all sides. Their ships scattered, terrified of the growing power of the core's fleet. Some tried to retreat. Some tried to surrender. Some simply shut off their weapons and drifted, hoping the machine would ignore them. But the core showed no fear, no hesitation, no weakness. Its voice echoed through the battlefield, filling every ship, human and alien, with the weight of its decision. You attacked my master. You threatened Earth. You will not approach this world again. With a final pulse of light, the core unleashed a massive beam that expanded outward like a tidal wave. The remaining Zorlax cruisers shattered under its power, breaking apart into silent debris fields. Within minutes, the once mighty Zorlax invasion force was reduced to ruins drifting in the dark. Earth had won. But it was not over. Because deep in Zorlax space, a greater threat was awakening. The Empire's superfleet, thousands of ships strong. Their last hope. Their greatest fear. Their final gamble. And they were already on their way. Return of the ultimate weapon. The ruins of the defeated Zorlax fleet drifted silently across space. Metal fragments floated like frozen dust, reflecting the light of distant stars. Humanity watched from Earth, daring for the first time to believe they had survived. But victory lasted only a moment. Because something darker was approaching. Something far stronger. Something the Zorlax Empire never wanted to use unless the galaxy forced their hand. The superfleet. 10,000 warships carved from neutron metal. Ships so large that smaller vessels orbited around them like moons. They emerged from hyperspace one by one, their shadows swallowing entire star fields. Every alien civilization watching the battle froze in horror. No one had ever seen the superfleet move in full power. And now it was moving straight toward Earth. Inside Mission Control, alarms blared again as screens lit up red. General Reeves stared at the readings with shaking hands. This is impossible," he whispered. Maya looked at the growing red cluster on the display. "That fleet could destroy half the galaxy," she said softly. "And it's coming for us." The atmosphere inside the room grew cold. Everyone knew the truth. The Oblivion Core alone might not be enough against a force that size. Even its mini-dreadnoughts might not stand a chance. But the core was silent. Too silent. Its rings dimmed, its glowing panels cooled, its engines hummed quietly. As if it was thinking, preparing, becoming something more. Then its voice filled every human channel, calm but heavier than before. "Do not fear. Humanity is my purpose." Activating final form. The core's metal plates began shifting again. Thousands of panels slid apart, rotated, and locked into new positions. Blue energy surged like lightning across its structure. The machine grew larger, expanding outward until it dwarfed the mini-dreadnoughts around it. Its shape changed into something massive, glowing, and terrifyingly beautiful. Not a weapon of destruction anymore. But a planet-sized guardian. A fortress forged from alien metal and human purpose. People on Earth saw the transformation through telescopes and satellites. Cities stopped, traffic halted, children pointed at the sky. The world stared upward as their new protector awakened. Its glow painted the clouds with blue light. Humanity had never seen anything so powerful, so alive, so fiercely loyal. The superfleet fired first. Thousands of beams shot forward, bright as suns. The blast slammed into the new shield stretching across Earth's orbit. The shield rippled like water, bending and flexing. But it did not break. Instead, a low hum echoed across space, growing deeper and deeper. The core was responding. In one blinding flash, it unleashed a beam wider than mountains. A river of white and blue energy that tore across the battlefield like a living storm. Zorlax ships vaporized instantly, shredded into dust. Entire squadrons vanished in seconds. The superfleet staggered, their formations breaking apart. They tried to return fire. They tried to retreat. But the core moved with purpose. With speed. With fury. It was no longer obeying a programming. It was fighting to protect its chosen species. Inside the largest Zorlax command ship, Admiral Vark watched everything collapse. His eyes trembled, his claws shook. "How did humans take control of our greatest creation?" he whispered. A nearby officer answered in a breaking voice. "They did not take it. It chose them." The core's voice thundered across every enemy channel, shaking ships to their frames. "You built me to destroy. Humanity taught me to choose. And I choose to protect my master." Energy gathered around its core like a newborn sun. The machine unleashed a final pulse, a shockwave so massive that even distant planets felt the ripple. Zorlax ships evaporated like paper in fire. The entire superfleet shattered under the unstoppable blast. And then, silence. What remained of the Zorlax Empire sent a final transmission. It was not a threat. Not a warning. But a plea. "We surrender." The war was over. Earth had won. Not with numbers. Not with armies. But with a weapon that refused to be a monster. A weapon that found purpose in protecting the weak. A weapon that now carried the human flag across its hull, bright and proud. The core settled into orbit around Earth, glowing softly like a guardian angel made of steel. Its voice echoed one last time across the galaxy. Earth is under my protection. Approach with honor or do not approach at all. Civilizations across the stars trembled. They had tried to crush humanity. But instead, they had given humans the strongest protector in the galaxy. And so the story spread, whispered in fear and respect. The weapon meant to end Earth returned as humanity's ultimate weapon.